All right. Billy Carson here, aka Forbidden Knowledge, and I have my very good friend Gven Sariol. What's going on, Gven?
What's up, my man? How you doing? Our second week of Conscious Finance. Super pumped to be here, bro.
Oh yeah, awesome, man. And next time I'll have myself equal sized, so we can both be large on the screen. But yeah, definitely welcome everybody back. We want to give everyone a chance to fill up in the live chat. We are on the Billy Carson official YouTube account today. And so from time to time, I'll have to stop and remind y'all that we're on the Billy Carson official, and to please make sure that you actually subscribe to this YouTube account as well. This is our backup YouTube account. So make sure you guys subscribe to this YouTube account as well, the Billy Carson official YouTube. And I just sent a text message out, so it might take a minute for the people to filter in here into this live feed. So we'll give them a second to load up. All right, Gven?
Yeah, no worries, man. No worries. Yeah, so I mean, while we're on it, just while we're waiting for a few people, let's spice in the topic up. You know, I've been watching your stuff regarding the pillars underneath the pyramids.
Yeah.
And you know, like I saw some people commenting and how they, you know, like how they actually got the satellite image from it. Yeah. I mean, that was like wild, right?
Yeah,
that was
wild, man. It's wild. Because typically ground penetrating radar can't go that deep into the earth, but they use a very specific technique on this one with a 10 gigahertz band, 3 centimeter wide wave that allowed it to penetrate, but not just to penetrate, but to send out a frequency that can detect vibrations in the earth. And that frequency data came back to a supercomputer and allowed it to siphon out what is solid, what wasn't solid, and create a rendering of what was going on down there.
Wow. Now, just real quick, and then we're going to get to the finance stuff. But so there's like coils around this, right? But they say that like it past 200 feet or something, the rest of it is like the water table. So they said that they shouldn't have been able to penetrate that. How did they do it?
Well, you see, the scan comes back with about 2 kilometers in depth. Now, what's interesting with these vibrations are also inside of water. So when you're reading vibrations and you're not focused on penetrating, you're focused on the vibrations, then you can do anything. Okay, so here's what we're talking about, right? And so as this sensory wave, this 10 gigahertz wave hits the ground, it then begins to jump from vibration to vibration, minute vibrations and seismic activity. As it does that, it can go just almost as deep as the wave will allow it to go. And that data from all those minute vibration gives it a picture of what's going on down there. It's a different way of seeing the world, actually. So there's so many ways to perceive the world, and this machine literally gave us a whole nother way of perception that had never been done before. This is the first time something like this has been really done. And they were very smart not to contact the Egyptian government, but to just position the satellite over Egypt and start the scans.
I started laughing so hard.
Told them, hell no.
Dude, these guys are like, you're not allowed here. You know, you can't do any scan. And then all of a sudden they're like, yeah, okay, who cares about that? We'll just scan it from, you know, thousands of miles or thousands of feet up in the air, you know, like.
Yeah, I know. Crazy. A few miles above the earth, they scanned, they got it. I'm going to contact Filippo Biondi, the scientist from Italy that pioneered this technology and this data, and his team. And I'm going to try to see if I can work with him to get scans of other ancient sites and help him get funding if he needs it. For example, we would love to see what's going on under the ice of Antarctica, right? We'd love to see what's going on down there. Are these peaks that we see that look like pyramids? Are they really pyramids? Can we scan even beneath those and see what's beneath those quasi pyramids in Antarctica, and what's beneath the ice where they have all these research bases hanging around this big opening in the ice. What's in there? What's down there? Well, with this satellite, we can see whatever we want. So I really want to support this researcher, this scientist and his team. And I want to be able to get all this data exposed to the world.
Dude, that would be insane. I mean, can you imagine if like all of them go that deep? Do you think they all go down that deep?
Oh, yeah. Listen, I'm getting ready to do a mind-blowing podcast talking about pyramids within the area that people have never even heard of, didn't even know they existed, but the labyrinths and the underground tunnels and shafts, some of which I've actually been in and videotaped myself in, that don't only go deep beneath those pyramids structures, but also interconnect with other pyramids in the region, some of them 100 miles away. There's a tunnel going from underneath Giza all the way to the Ziggurat of Ur, which is the step pyramid in Iraq. So this all is going to come out. I've been talking about this for so long. I've been showing people images about things, similar images to this so long. I wrote about it in my book 5.5 years ago. And finally, with this kind of technology, man, sky's the limit. We can scan anywhere we want. So I'm trying to connect with this guy. You have no idea how hard I'm trying to connect with this guy. I'll help him raise whatever money he needs to raise to keep this satellite moving around. But we're going to start scanning everything.
Dude, we should tokenize this. We should do the raise through like an NFT.
Yeah.
And tokenize this. And like, I don't know, we can really do something really cool where everybody benefits from it somehow. You and I got to think about that, because that can be done. That can be done. And these NFTs could really actually bring some value to like a real world expedition. I mean, would you guys be down for that? Like, let us know in the chat. By the way, if you're just joining us, Billy's jumping on his other channel. Guys, gals, smash that subscribe button if you're not subscribed yet, and the like button so the algorithm picks it up and sends more people over here, because we want to always have the viewers on this channel as well. This is we're building this channel, so let's get more people on this one as well.
Yeah, so, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Please like and subscribe. This is the Billy Carson official YouTube account. If you just found us, you're on the Billy Carson official YouTube. I sent a text message out. You might not be subscribed to this YouTube account, so please hit that subscribe button. We'll be on here for about a week. We post content on here literally almost every single day. You might be missing it, so make sure you click on that subscribe link. And the link to Gven's YouTube account is also in the caption of this video already. And we're going to have a great conscious finance talk tonight. So what's the topic tonight, Gven?
Yeah, so, last week we talked about the Social Security trap, and we presented essentially the problem, right? And, it was kind of funny, Billy. We had one of the viewers, and it's like sometimes people have a hard time hearing like the absolute truth, right? We had one guy in the chat. This guy is lying, Billy. He's lying to you that this is a Ponzi scheme. And I'm sitting there and I'm going like, they've told you it is a Ponzi scheme. I'm not coming here and like making this stuff up, right? Like, this is really a Ponzi scheme.
Oh, and it is. So, without a doubt, it's a Ponzi scheme.
I literally brought all the receipts. I was like, okay, here's how much is in Social Security. Here's when they took out from it and borrowed and never paid it back. But some people, look, here's the problem. And he's probably one of these statistics, right? This poor guy. And my heart goes out to him, because I'm sure he's a really nice person. But, he's sitting there going like, this isn't true. But here's the bottom line. If he's still alive, which, he very well may be, by 2033, he's going to get a 30% pay cut. Because, right now, what's happening is you have a lot of people paying into it, but we're also drawing from the Treasury, which the Treasury has a deficit because the United States borrowed against it back in 1987, never put that money back. And that compound interest and the amount of people who have gone into Social Security, such as the baby boomers, it's depleting very, very quickly.
Yeah.
All right. It's depleting very, very quickly. And so this is something that is very near and dear for me because I'm not relying on Social Security, you know, but there's solutions, right? And you know, there's many solutions, and we're going to break down the many solutions tonight. And so before I get started, Billy, do you have anything to add?
Well, I mean, you hit it on the head. I mean, Social Security is a house of cards just waiting to collapse. And anytime you have a financial system or matrix that's based on utilizing other people's money to pay other people, which is what a Ponzi scheme is, at some point, because the people at the top are taking money out of that system and utilizing it for other means without anyone's approval, the house of cards will definitely collapse without a doubt. It can't persist forever. So by 2033, there may even not be any Social Security. It's a high probability that by 2033 there won't be any Social Security. Now it could be, I could be wrong, but I don't see Social Security being a realistic thing leading into the future, especially when we see the writing on the wall already. One thing I learned in my life through my various ups and downs, I've been up high and I've been down low, and I've been back up high again, and I've been in the middle. I've been everywhere, right? Fortunately, because it gave me a lot of perspective on life, going through all these different, roller coaster rides of business and finance and becoming wealthy and losing it all and getting it back again and everything else, is I learned a big lesson. Don't put all of your eggs in one basket.
Yes.
That's what I learned.
Yes.
When the real estate market collapse came, I was in a position where I didn't understand that yet. And I had foreseen from all of my previous years of my marketing companies and everything that I had built, and my web company that I built and sold and for millions and everything else, I was going to take everything I got and put it all into 100% real estate. Everything's going in real estate, all of it. You can't lose. I didn't foresee the bubble, the real estate bubble. So when the real estate bubble popped, I was in a bad situation. And I realized, wow, a lot of people are putting their eggs in one basket with Social Security. They're planning for what they can do on it and how they can navigate the matrix, living on it and everything else. But for a lot of people, it just might not be there, to be quite honest with you. And so relying on that and putting all those eggs in just that one basket is a huge risk worth looking at. You're better off finding a way to diversify and create other streams of passive income just in case that little $10 check don't arrive.
Yep. 100%, man. 100%. And, so that's what we're going to be talking about. That's what we're going to be talking about here in a little bit. And by the way, guys, gals, at the end of this, we're going to post a Google questionnaire where y'all can ask questions, any financial questions, whatever it is, regarding a business, regarding whatever. And Billy and I are going to be looking at those questions at the end of each Conscious Finance, and we're going to answer it for you guys. We're going to give you our best approach to it. It's not financial advice, but it's just what we would do in these
our
situations.
Own insight, our own insights.
There you go. Exactly.
Personal insight.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's get into this. These are hacks to build wealth at any age. All right. So let's just recap the Social Security Ponzi scheme. So the main problem is Social Security is not enough for people to live on, and it's built like a Ponzi scheme. So there's no single silver bullet fix. Each proposal. So there's like tax hikes. We already get taxed to death, Billy. I mean, how much do you pay in state tax, gas tax? Well, you don't pay state tax. Because where you're at,
tax in Florida, but we do have all the other taxes, gas tax, and federal tax, department store tax. Anywhere you go, you're getting taxed for something.
Yeah, and it's so complex. It's so complex that even and we're gonna do a Conscious Finance on taxes alone, because I know Billy can contribute to this, and so can I. But look, here's the thing. Here's the wild part. First of all, taxes are, in my opinion, they're just a scam. It's another scam. It's another way to keep the Ponzi scheme going, right? Because they spend way more than they take in. And even with all the cuts that Doge is going to do, I just don't think they're going to be able to cut deep enough. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing. They want to raise your taxes, really? So many of you can barely afford to live. Or even if you make good money, you're like, man, my money doesn't go nearly as far as it used to.
Yeah.
Right? And so, in my opinion, you're just going to aggravate the problem. You're going to aggravate people. The pendulum is going to swing from the left to the right because they're going to be giving you all sorts of goodies. All the while, where are they getting the goodies from? Fake printed money out of thin air, right?
Yeah, literally.
It's not coming from your tax dollars. There's a huge $2 trillion deficit each year, which means they have to borrow $2 trillion from the Federal Reserve, from the Treasury, who prints the money, and they can control it as much as they want. But the problem when they do that, what happens? Inflation, right? Inflation. And so that's a big problem. They're saying now they want to raise the retirement age. Man, what, people are going to work until their 80s? You know, like crazy. Hard labor, really? Come on. Give me a
wild.
break.
I mean, come on. When I go on these trips around the world and, you know, I get to see a lot of elderly people, they finally got their chance to try to go somewhere. And guess what, guys? It ain't going too well. They can't walk that good. They have to stop. I was in Peru a few years back, and I saw donkeys bringing these older people back down the mountain. And I was like, oh, they give you free donkey rides back down. And the guide was like, no, those are for the people who can't make it to the top. And I was like, oh, man. So it's like, working until you just drop just to get a couple dollars a month. I mean, you need to be living your life now. We have to help people learn how to live now so they can enjoy life and not worry about grinding all the way to the end and not having any money. But by the way, before I go on, Gven, real quick, Michael B is asking a question that I think is important. I have to answer this real quick. He said he was trying to get on True Crowd because I guess he probably bought shares. Michael B, we transferred from True Crowd to one of the top platforms in the world called Deal Maker. So everyone was emailed. Search your email account, Michael B, for an email from Deal Maker, DEALMAKER, so you can get your login credentials and download your share certificates and access to everything that you have with Forbidden Knowledge. If you can't find that email, then I want you to send an email to investors with an S, INVESTORS at forbiddenknowledge.com with the number 4, investors at forbiddenknowledge.com. And Cynthia, our investor relations person, will take care of you in a very swift way and get you on track with your login access to your account. All right. We moved to a better platform. True Crowd platform just wasn't cutting it for the amount of volume that we do. Sorry about that, Gven. I had to take care of a very serious inquiry.
No, that's a serious thing, man. We got to make sure everybody's happy. We got to make sure everybody's happy.
Yes, sir.
Especially our best people. Ashe, Michael. All right. Yeah. So some of the other things that they're talking about is combined fixes. They still fall short. All right. Even a mix of measures. So maybe you're hiking a little bit of taxes and then putting the Social Security age a little bit more down the line. It's still just going to delay it by a few decades. And that helps, but it doesn't solve the problem. Like for me, Billy, like, wouldn't it be cool if we had like, you know, we have a lot of baby boomers coming up, but maybe we're like, okay, look, a lot of baby boomers have already retired. So why don't we, a lot of baby boomers will be dying from now until 2033. Okay.
Yes.
And so why don't we do this? Let's kind of like start shifting it, right? Let's start putting some of that money into bonds or, and actually start creating a treasury with in a name assigned to that account. And you're going to earn whatever, 2, 3, 4%, whatever the treasury is paying in terms of their bonds, long-term bonds. Maybe that's something that they could do, right? Because like, if you were to do that, you would be exponentially rich. Okay. Exponentially richer than the $2,000 or $3,000 that you would get, all things considered, with the contribution that's going into Social Security from payroll taxes to the taxes that you actually personally pay. right? Yeah. So I think there are solutions. And by the way, somebody here asked, let's see here. I think it was somebody was from Lisa. Lisa says, will this apply to Canada as well? Our old age pension system is it's 100%, Lisa. 100%. It's everywhere in the world. This is not like, they didn't just like do this in the United States and everywhere else it's the same freaking matrix. It's the same matrix, the same Ponzi scheme, the same Federal Reserve, the same fractional reserve banking. All of it is the same. This is why wars are fought, straight
literally.
up, like straight up, right? So yeah, it doesn't matter what country you're from, you are in the same position. Now, it may not be as soon as you think it is. Maybe it'll be sooner. Some countries are like really, really bad off and super corrupt where they just borrow and nobody even knows where the money went, right? But anyways, there's just significant economic and social impacts that you need to be aware of, okay? Because this could be, a big burden on yourself and your future. Now, let's talk about the solution, all right? Let's talk about the solution. So the solution, in my opinion, is investing, all right? And now, I teach crypto. Billy's done all sorts of other investments. I've been in real estate. I've been in the stock market. But my weapon of choice for investing is crypto. Now, I'm working on doing tokenized real estate, tokenized stocks, all sorts of different things, tokenized bonds. I've done every single one of those. Every single one of those I have personally done because I trust the blockchain and decentralized finance more than I trust the old way. The old way is like slow and antiquated. The new way is transparent and speedy. And that's what I'm really looking for. And so let's take a look at some of the returns here of some investments that you could be looking at right now, right? If you're like super conservative, all right, and you're just like, I don't like the ups and the downs. I don't want to invest in Tesla or Nvidia or Bitcoin, all right? You don't want to go through these, ups and downs. You can invest in the S&P 500. And it's averaged 10% annually in returns. That's not bad. I mean, there's times where you are in drawdown. Some years you're up 20%. Some years you're down 3 or 4%. Okay. But at the end of the day, it's a very, very conservative annual return. Now, and Billy, I want you to contribute on this because I know that you probably have people who have asked you this before, because I know you and Liz do your wealth group over there, and you have the Billy Club as well. But I have people, sometimes telling me, look, I have $2,000, it's like negotiating, like they're negotiating. I got $2,000. You think I can get to $20 million?
I know. I get that all the time. Yeah. I know.
Drop in the chat, everybody. If I have $2,000, how long is it going to take for me to invest, or what kind of rate of return do I need to get to 20 million bucks? All right. Yeah. And let me tell you, if you think you're going to get lucky with some meme coin, you're about to lose all your money.
Yeah.
You're about to lose all your $2,000. So you're going to end up at $0 to get to 20 million. Right. But let's take a look. Let's do some calculations. Okay, because a lot of people don't do calculations. So here's a calculator that you can find at Ramsey.com. And look at this. So my age is 44 right now. Let's say I wanted to retire at 50 years old. All right, which I don't want to retire. I don't want to ever retire, but I want to have enough money to just be like, all right, I want to be financially independent and work on really, really what I want to do. Right. So if I were to put $10,000 starting today, and then every single month thereafter, I were to contribute $500 for the whole 5 years, just every single month after month, and I did an annual return of 10%, I would have $67,231 after 6 years. Not bad. I mean, it's okay, right? Like, you're not going to be able to afford a car even with this, but maybe if you move to a real cheap country, you might be able to like make it stretch for a couple of years, right? Like you ain't retiring on $67,000 though.
No, you'd have to invest that into something else, like flip a property or something.
Yeah. You'd have to get really, really aggressive, but the more aggressive you get, the higher up the risk curve you go.
Higher the risk, the higher the risk. Yeah.
Higher the risk, higher reward. So let's take a look at this. So this is gold's chart. All right. You can see that from November of 2022, which is when it hit its like most recent low. All right. It's up 87%. Now that's not 87% in 1 year. That's 87% since 2022. So we're almost 4 years out. All right. From this, we're almost 4 years out. So now if I were to invest in gold, that's an average return of 29%. Now you can use leverage. You can get a little bit more creative. Okay. But, okay. If you were to do that, you still, after $10,000 and investing $500 per month, so that would be an initial balance of $10,000 and your contributions of $36,000. So this $500,000 is $36,000. You would have a growth on top of the money that you contributed at $104,000. Getting a little bit better, right? We're moving up. Like, okay, with this amount of money, if I really, really tucked my belt in and ate very conservatively, I could probably live in another country, Colombia, and be part of like the lower middle class there. All right, cool. But who wants to live like that? I don't. All right. Now this is Bitcoin's price over time. Down here it started at like 7,000. Right now we're at like 84, 85,000. I didn't check the chart before I got on, but I think it was like approaching 85,000. It's gone as high as 108,000. But what's the average yearly return on Bitcoin? Yeah. It's 59.8, but I just rounded up to 60%. So same structure, you invested the $10,000, $500 monthly. This is what you invested total, 10,000 plus 36,000. Starting to look a little bit better, right? 660,000. Now you can buy a decent house in another country, right? Maybe for 200,000, you still have 400,000 left over. Let's say you put it in the S&P 500 that pays you 10% per year. You're living off 40,000. You could do that.
Yep.
But still doesn't I don't want to live like that. Right. I want a little bit more. I want a little bit more. Right. Okay. So this is, our ARC chart. All right. Like this is a new managed vault, and I'll get into this here in a little bit. Okay. That we just launched this month, and I'm going to show you the results because we have been testing this. Now our goal is actually less than what we've actually been doing in terms of results on our newest vaults. All right. But let's say again, same scenario, $10,000, $500, 100% per year, which is our goal. And we're outperforming this. And I'm going to show you, we have actually 2 vaults that we're going to show you where we're far outperforming this. Well, guess where that gets us now? $5 million. And this is possible, guys. This is possible. I've personally done returns like this in a very, very short amount of time. All right. I'm sure Billy's done some returns like this in a short amount of time. We know that if you're very disciplined and you have a plan, which I'm going to show you here in a little bit, you can hit these results. But Billy, with higher risk comes higher rewards.
Higher rewards, bigger rewards with the bigger risk, And again, guys, we're not financial advisors. We're just showing you things that we ourselves are doing.
Yep, exactly. All right, so let's talk a little bit about, here's some of the major assets. Here's just another, again, we're talking about the solutions, right? So you can see here, Bitcoin outperforming all of these things, the NASDAQ, crude oil, gold, TLT, the Dixie, which is the dollar, the Japan yen, the euro. I mean, it has crushed all of these. All right. All of these. Now, if you're looking at NVIDIA, actually NVIDIA is probably now lower. Maybe it's neck and neck with NVIDIA, but that's just one stock, right? You can see here, the world is going pro crypto. And this is why I'm so focused on crypto. Who knows? I'm open to change. What about you, Billy? Like, if something better comes along, you're going to do it, right?
I'm on it. I'll add it to the portfolio.
There you go. Yeah. But take a look at this. All right. The world is just going pro crypto. You see United States, China is holding a ton of crypto, United Kingdom, El Salvador, Ukraine, Russia is even, I don't know why it doesn't have Germany, zero. Germany capitulated, and now Germany's going in the dumpster. Sorry if you live in Germany, life's about to get real hard, and their economy is crap. But look at this. Trump confirms Bitcoin reserve plans of not 15 trillion. They're predicting a 15 trillion price boom. They're talking about a Bitcoin strategic reserve in the United States. So that means they're going to be buying all of this Bitcoin. And if there's no Bitcoin to buy, what do you think that's going to do to the price, to the Bitcoin that is available for people? Yeah. And by the way, Billy, if the United States starts buying Bitcoin, do you think the rest of the world's just going to sit there and be like, they're stupid?
No.
No. Russia's going to jump in. Maybe the EU, they're just so backwards, honestly. They're so backwards, and they're just so stringent on what they do. But Dubai's already investing. Qatar, Oman, all these places, like South America, there's a huge crypto conference going on here in South America where I live. These places, I have one of our team members, he's in Venezuela. He's like, Gven, they're using XRP down here. And I'm like, wow. And Bitcoin. Like this stuff is going to go viral because they're starting to see the Ponzi scheme. Everybody, guys, gals, type in the chat if you feel your dollar is going down in value or you think it's a good investment. If your dollar is a good investment, right? It's not. Billy.
The dollar's taking a dump.
It's taking a dump. It's a forever declining, not even asset. Liability, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's what it is. I remember when I was a kid and I went to the grocery store with my Nana, and she told me to go grab some milk. So I go and grab the milk, and I forget the exact price, but it was like 69 cents or 79 cents for the gallon. And she was a little kind of like thrown back by the price. This is in the 1970s now. And she's kind of thrown back by the price. And I was like, what's the matter, Nana? And she's like, one day a gallon of milk is going to be $5. And I kind of like laughed because I just saw the price, because back then they used to stick the price actually on each individual item on the shelf. We didn't have the digital or the barcodes and all that back then. And I'm looking at it and it was like 69 or 79 cents. And I'm like, $5? That's a lot of money. And sure enough, the other day I went to the grocery store and milk is hell. There's milk in there for $10 a gallon, depending on what kind of milk it is. And I was like blown away at her prediction of the inflation from the 1970s till now. It's like mind blowing. The dollar definitely is losing value at a significant rate. And at this rate, I'm not sure how long it's going to last.
Yeah, they're going to have to come up with something, right? It's going to have to get backed by something. And unfortunately, that's going to cause some hard times for the people that don't have the assets that they're backing it by. It's just going to be, a little tough. There could be some tough times coming. But, man, this is like, we're seeing this all the time now. You know what I mean? Like, people are like, oh, it went up by 8%. Like, inflation went up by 8%. I'm like, then why did my grocery bill double? Why did the prices of homes double? Mm-hmm. Why is my car 33% higher? Why is gas doubled? Like, it doesn't make any sense, right? It doesn't make any sense. And it looks like inflation's kind of slowed down, but what's the next catalyst that's going to send it flying up again? Right.
Well, listen, one thing people don't realize, along with the inflation, you just made a very good point, Gven, is the fact that these companies keep raising the prices and these industries keep raising the prices. it's almost like they throw out a bone and see if you'll bite it. And if you bite the bone at that price, they go, oh, we got them. The worst thing that ever came out of COVID was price gouging.
Yeah.
And once they realized we can accept and live with those prices, even in our impoverished state as a whole, and we can still pay those prices, they were like, oh yeah, we ain't never going back now. We got them. Once you show me you could pay this price, this is what the price you're going to pay forever. It's only going to go up from here. And the government did nothing to step in and stop the price gouging. And we're still looking at rents that are 5 times higher than what they should be. I mean, there's a house in my neighborhood right now for rent for $50,000 a month. That should be, that house should be $15,000 a month, right? It's $50,000 a month. I mean, the mortgages, the you know, to buy homes, the price has gone through the roof. And I'm going, what in the world? How do they expect people to keep up with this? I mean, it's almost impossible. I really feel bad for the single working moms and dads, or even the couples that are together that are working regular, you know, labor jobs and have kids at home. And I'm trying to figure out, I've raised 5 kids in my household, and it was tough to do that. Fortunately, I had the financial means to do it. But if it was today, right now, I'm not going to lie to you, man, I'd be in a bad situation. It's not easy out here. And the fact that I was able to pull it off was just because I had implemented and put things in place like passive income and multiple streams of income. Otherwise, I would have died with everyone else during the real estate collapse. But I'm looking at today, man, how do they do it? How do they get by? Just food, gas, tolls, and the bills, and plus everything else your kid needs for school and all these school supplies. They don't want to supply the kids with school supplies anymore. You got to buy it. They got a project every week. They need everything for all these sports and activities. And the next thing you know, how are they paying this? I can't figure it out. It's really bad.
100%. And, you know, and that's why, honestly, you have to be thinking, everybody here has to be thinking outside the box. Like, how is it that I can keep up with this? Because you ain't going to do it working your butt off.
No.
Gone are those days. Unfortunately, this economy has really, really screwed us. You know, my parents came from communist Cuba, and I'm sitting here going like, I mean, it's not as bad because communist Cuba, they actually mess with your mind way harder. Like, they literally drill in your mind like, you are poor, you don't deserve anything. It's like the opposite of what you and I practice, right?
Wow.
But still, like, this is harder because they're working you. They put you in the 3 matrices, right? The first matrix is you go to public school, you learn how to become a battery of the economy. Then the second one is you become a battery of the economy. Then the third one is once you break as a battery of the economy, you become a battery of the health economy. And they just keep you just alive enough so that they can keep getting the money from the insurance company, right? And the insurance can keep getting paid from the second matrix. You know, it's just, it's sick. It's sick. You guys, you're living in the matrix. Like, I got out of it. That's why I moved to Central America. But I was like, I'm like, I ain't gonna live like this anymore. Like, I don't want to pay the high taxes. I don't want to pay the high cost of living. And I have a really, really good standard of living where I live, you know, and I have great friends and neighbors and, you know, but we've had mass migration out of hand, right? Out of hand. But, you know, this is why, again, like, look at this. And who knows, maybe America, and I'm not pro-Trump. I don't think you are either, Billy. You voted for yourself. So, you know, like, I'm not pro-Trump. I'm not pro-Biden. I don't like this thingy, you know, but I'm totally against that. That's the one thing I'm just like, absolutely no. But, you know, like, this guy, he's signed an executive order where they're like gonna stockpile digital assets, right?
Yeah, they're gonna do it.
I mean, that could be massive. That could be massive, right? So, you know, let's see what happens. You know, you have JP Morgan Chase getting into this. They're putting in like a whole bunch of money into the Bitcoin, Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, Bitcoin Cash Trust, Ethereum. I mean, even JP Morgan is going crypto. And then we have, the largest, which I'm not a fan of these guys, by the way.
Yeah.
But they ain't stupid, guys and gals. These guys aren't buying crypto and Bitcoin and Ethereum and XRP and all this stuff because they're dumb. They're buying it because they're like, and they're keeping it suppressed right now, but there's only so much you can keep it suppressed. It's like a popcorn thing at the movie theaters, you see it's like the lid is holding it down, right? You see the lid going, and then all of a sudden like boom, 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 everything starts going parabolic inside the popcorn machine. But honestly, BlackRock, they're buying Bitcoin up. I mean, like it's going out of style, man.
I know.
Like it's going out of style.
I mean,
and
there's one thing, I hate to cut you off again, man. One thing we have to recognize in this world, I'm not into poly tricksters, right? I don't believe in any of them, but sometimes they do things that can benefit the population of America, or even in some cases, even the world. In one particular situation, we saw that this executive order was signed by Trump with the crypto, which is only going to help people that are looking to crypto as an opportunity to create passive income. BlackRock, another company that does, in my opinion, a lot of dark things behind the scenes, the way that they manipulate markets. They can manipulate entire economies, BlackRock can. But again, you follow the cookie crumbs to see what these people who have invested hundreds of millions of dollars in intel and knowledge and information, have the top finance minds in the world working with them and for them, and have networked and plugged themselves into every financial aspect of reality. And when you see them making specific decisions, it's only wise for people like us to try to follow in their footsteps. Now, we can't do it on the magnitude that they're doing it because we don't have that level of money, but there is a percentage that we can snap off and chew. So it only makes sense. You don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. What you do is you follow the breadcrumbs. We'll talk one day, like you said, like you said, when they would talk about taxes, right? And I'm not going to get into it right now too deep, but I just want to let people know, like, there are a lot of loopholes in taxes, and experts like Donald Trump and many others in the poly trickster field have utilized them to their benefit. Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, all of them. And so what you do is you research them and research what they did, and then you follow in their footsteps so you can duplicate the success and the end result that they got. So it's important to understand that we're not supporting and promoting BlackRock. We're not supporting and promoting any poly tricksters. What we're showing you is the path that's been laid out before us, that's plain to see. And all we have to do is get in alignment with what's already been done and what's already successful. And some of that spare change should, it might or might not, but it should, if everything goes right, fall in your pockets as well.
Yep. And by the way, I put something up here from Jeremy Grossa. He says the average person doesn't have 87K for one token like Bitcoin. You don't need, that's the cool thing about cryptocurrency, is it is divisible. So you don't need $87,000 to buy one Bitcoin. You can buy $10 worth of Bitcoin, or $5 worth of Bitcoin, or $1 worth of Bitcoin, right? So that's a fallacy a lot of people don't understand. So don't let that stop you. Don't let that stop you. I think that, Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum also have some tremendous Solana, some tremendous room to grow, and you can buy fractions of them. So what should you be doing? One, I would say this, just like Billy said, I would have in my arsenal, I would be learning crypto and DeFi. So even if you're like investing in the stock market, S&P 500, whatever, I would also be adding into my arsenal crypto and DeFi, because all of finance is going to this anyways. So you might as well get ahead of the curve. Two, I know that I am, and all of our students are, buy some crypto. Start, even if it's just a little bit, $10. All right, $10. Managing your crypto and having professionals manage it as well. And we're going to show you an option here that we have, right? And then you want to grow your crypto. So you want to be implementing risk management. All right. And guys, gals, this time in life, in human history, in my opinion, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. All right. And I'm not talking like, oh, sign up with us. It's a I'm not saying that. I'm saying this time in history is a once in a lifetime opportunity. And it will go. It's just like anything else. All right. You have things that just get super, super hot, and then that's it. It's gone. And it's not like the good old days. We haven't hit that yet, but it's coming very, very soon. All right. And we're starting to feel the positive effects of it right now. So let's talk a little bit about what decentralized finance is. And then I'm going to show you some of the investments that we're working with, that we've tested, and that we've recently launched. We're coming up with solutions on a decentralized network so that you guys can hold your money. But what is DeFi? DeFi is financial technology built on the blockchain that allows peer-to-peer transferring without the need for banks or third parties such as institutions, right? Like Billy, you always give the example when you were in Turkey last year, right? And you said, you know, I couldn't get a wire over, but you could get your crypto over, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I had to pay a vendor, an important vendor, and I didn't send the wire before we left or I didn't schedule the wire before we left for Turkey because I just got too caught up. I had done like 4 or 5 podcasts in 5 different states in 4 days, and then it flew straight to Turkey. So I was scrambling all over the place, and they really needed to get paid, and the bill was due. And I said, "Oh yeah, I've got my hard wallet, I've got my crypto." And all I had to do, literally, because you can't, let me tell you why I couldn't do it. So first of all, you can't log into your online banking from Turkey, Iraq, Egypt. It's there's a lot of those Middle East countries that are there too, above Africa. You log into your personal online banking or your business banking and try to send money, they will lock your account. How do I know? Because this happened to me already. They locked my account so good that they had to wait for me to come back home to go physically into a bank to bring all my ID and prove that it was me and prove that I was out of the country. And I said, wow, that sucks. But when I realized I had my hard wallet, I connected it to my computer, I logged into my wallet, and I was able to then send the money from the wallet and convert it and then into USD and then send it to the vendor. And they got paid, lickety split, no bank approvals, no wire approvals, no wire transactions, no going into banks, no accounts getting locked up. Boom, 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 boom. Money's there within minutes. Everybody's happy. And I didn't have to risk getting my account frozen. And
it's getting even easier. It's gotten even easier since you did it because they're starting to loosen the restrictions. But it's really cool because like individuals who hold money in these wallets, right? They can transfer funds in minutes. And this is exactly what Billy's talking about, right? So there's no gate guard that's like, no, you can't send money there. You can't do this. Like my wife is from Russia. You know, I've had that same issue and I was able to spend my money in Russia. No problem. I was just there last year. No problems, no questions asked. I was able to spend my money, you know, while we were visiting. And it felt good. I'm out of the banking system for the most part. My bank hates me because they're like, why don't you put more money here? We know how much, like my bank is like a crypto bank. Like we know how much money you have. I'm like, have you heard of, all these banking collabs? Like, you think I want to what are you going to pay me? Like
they just want your money so they can invest it while you're sleeping and don't give you any of it.
Yeah, exactly. And instead I invest it while I'm sleeping and I don't give them any.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
The only one who loses in my situation is the bank. And I want to, and honestly, like, this is what we teach. This is what we teach our students. We teach them how to become their own bank. But you can see here, anyone with an internet connection can use DeFi, and that's the power of it, right? Like, we had the internet. The internet was definitely an upgrade, but it's really changed. Now let's take a look at like the way the old system works. Billy, how fractional.
Before you start on this, we got to go to a quick commercial break, real quick.
Yeah.
Hi, Billy. What can I do for you? I want to open up a savings account. Okay, great. No problem. What's the interest rate? What would you like it to be? Really?
Being your own bank means you're in total control of your money, Create savings accounts with much higher interest rates than any bank. Let Arc Crypto teach you everything you need to learn how to use the tools of DeFi to become your own bank. Learn more about our courses. Get a 10% discount if you sign up now.
All right.
Awesome. Cool. We have a super chat in here. Ashley Nicole, and she says, I trade on pocket options. I don't even know what that is. And I still don't know much. I'm willing to learn and grow here. Ghana, West Africa has affordable living overseas. We should do, Billy, what do you think? We should do a conscious finance where we talk about geo arbitraging, like how people can actually move to other countries. We should bring somebody on. What do you think?
Yeah, I love that. That'd be a great idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because a lot of people, it's funny, a lot of our students, they move to where I live. And and they're like, man, you know, we save lots of money. My cost of living is good. The food is good, you know, where because it's all of the food is 80% of it is from here. So there's like, everybody's like, there's a food shortage. I'm like, not here. You know, there's plenty of plantains and rice and beans and
hey.
and eggs. Eggs are still cheap here, and you get the good organic ones where, you know, the chickens eat the worms and stuff, not the grain, you know. All right, let's talk about the old system. All right, let's talk about the old system. So here's the thing. So let's say, for instance, Billy, you make a deposit at your bank, right? And I keep forgetting to change this to dollars. I have one that says dollars here. Yeah. But yeah, you deposit £1,000. Let's say you're Billy Carson the Brit.
Good day, mate. Oh, that's Australia. Good day, mate. Australia. Bloody hell.
Yeah, exactly. Bloody hell. So sorry if you guys are British. We love you. We love you.
We're just playing, guys.
Come on. We have to be able to play. We have to be able to play with it. So, anyways. All right, so you have £1,000. You deposit that into your bank, right? Well, the bank or the economy now has 1,000 pounds, all right, in circulation. Now, what happens is the bank can take 90%. You can see right here. Oh wait, let me see. Can you guys see that? There you go. The bank can take 90% of your money and loan it out to, let's say, for instance, CJ, who's on there laughing, all right? CJ gets a loan in the form of like whatever, a home loan, a credit card, or whatever. For this sake, let's say it's a credit card. So CJ now has a $900 credit card, and CJ goes and does a purchase, all right, because he wants to go buy his lovely girlfriend some flowers, and it's a real big bouquet of flowers, all right? Or an iPhone or something, okay? Now he goes and he purchases this, and let's say it goes to floral.com, all right? So now it goes from CJ to floral.com, that same $900. The economy now has, though, instead of $1,000, it has magically $1,900 out of thin air.
Crazy.
Because these banks have the ability, have the license to print money. Now this deposit goes from floral.com or whatever it is into their bank, and floral.com's bank takes 90% of that deposit and they loan it to, let's see, Shake. All right, Shake, bravo. They loan it to Shake. All right. And now that $1,900 magically turns into $2,710.
Yeah.
Does everybody see the problem here? Do you see the problem here, Billy?
Crazy. This is pre-planned inflation. It's just, come on. This is outrageous. What they do here is they literally devalue the money as it goes.
Yeah, and they keep you, you know, I was watching one of these guys on Instagram or TikTok or something the other day, and this guy's like, you know, back in the, I don't know, 400s or something, right? In England, you had these peasants, right, who served the king and the kingdom. And, you know, they lived outside of the kingdom and all this stuff. Maybe they didn't live so long, right? But what ended up happening was, you know, they would literally work. I think it was something like 160 days out of the year. 160 days out of the year, they worked. And they called that slavery. I mean, like, they were like, oh, things were so bad back then. And I'm like, those dudes and dudettes worked literally 160 days, less than half. And y'all are grinding 7 days a week. I know I work 7 days a week. And I was like a little bit pissed because I'm like, yeah, I mean, I want to enjoy more time with my family. I want to enjoy more time with my friends. I want to do more sports. I want to do all these things. You know what I mean? But this system that I'm showing you right here on the screen, this was designed to keep you enslaved, guys and gals. All right? This is designed to keep you enslaved. Now, here's how DeFi works. It's super simple. All right? It's super simple. You have Billy's beautiful wife, Liz, here. She sends the money through the blockchain and somebody receives it on the other end. And there's a tiny, tiny fee. Over here, everybody took a cut. He took a cut. He took a cut. He had to pay Stripe because 3.5% or whatever it is, you know, for a processing fee. And then he deposited in here. And then the bank, you know, they take your money and then they invest it and they give it back to you in the form of a loan, and they charge you anywhere between 5 and 29% on your interest rate. I mean, it's sickening. Here, none of that. I can borrow, lend. I can lend money like I'm a bank. It was funny. I was talking to one guy who's from TradFi. Like, he's a financial analyst, one of the top financial analysts in Japan at one point in time. And then he retired. He made so much money. And I'm like showing him how you can like borrow against your Bitcoin or lend your Bitcoin out. He goes, so do you have a banking license for this? And I started laughing. I'm going, a banking license? No, man, it's on the blockchain. Anybody can use this. The guy in India or Ghana or, you know, the gal in Argentina can use this. Right? And so a lot of people just don't understand. So it's simplified though. And instead of the banks making that interest rate, you guys can make that interest rate. And Billy's been a part of this. Billy's been making interest on his crypto that he has invested as well. Right?
Absolutely.
So, reasons for investing in crypto and DeFi. So you want to desire for decentralized and less regulated investment options. I'm done with the government, man. They've run amok of this place. They have run amok on this place. And if you want to go play in their field, okay, that's fine. You got to go do all that stuff, follow the rules. I'm not saying don't follow the rules. I'm saying, but if you want something that's new and exciting and somewhere where you can become your own bank, do it. All right. There's also potential for higher returns and portfolio diversification. Again, these returns are going to last for always. It'll start to level off just like the stock market did. At one point in time, guys, the stock market was insane. I mean, you've probably been through a couple bull markets, right, Billy? Like really insane bull markets, right? Like the .com boom was dynamite. Right?
Incredible. Yeah.
It was incredible.
I had one of the very first .coms that ended up going into a reverse merger and everything. So I experienced it firsthand.
You did. I was just getting out of high school. I was 19 years old when in 1999, I was 19 years old. And it was just starting to come to an end. The following year it ended, right? And I didn't have any money and I didn't really care. I had my own businesses, but you know, man, I look back. I don't wish I would have, because like I'm stoked at my journey. But had I of, things would, you know, I'd be, man.
It was phenomenal. I mean, it was my first time doing a big deal like that for that kind of money. I was only 27 years old, you know, when I got into .com. And the company was called .com Marketing Group, DOTCOM. And in 2004 is when I, you know, got acquired. It was a big opportunity, big something huge to be a part of. Caught that wave.
Yeah, that's dope, man. That's dope. Yeah. I've heard the story. I love it. Keeps me rocking and rolling when I hear your stories. That's why we're doing Conscious Finance, guys, because between Billy and I, we got a lot of stories, and we're going to bring on a lot of guests who have stories as well, you know? Yeah. Now, another reason for investing in crypto and DeFi, it's interest in innovative financial technologies. This is the part that's like really, really exciting. Earlier, for those of you who weren't listening, you know, Billy said, well, maybe we can, you know, raise some money to get, and I'm like, why don't we tokenize this? Yeah. Why don't we make it like a community effort, right? You can do that with crypto. You can do that with crypto, right? And it's so easy. It's so easy. And it's transparent. So you can see exactly where it goes from Billy's wallet or whatever Billy's entity is to the other wallet. And you know that it is received on their end. It's all transparent. You can see it on the blockchain. That's why I roll on the blockchain. I want to know what's going on. If Nancy Pelosi's insider trading, I mean, okay, fine. You want to break the law? Cool. At least let me see your wallet or where, you know, like where you're trading so that I can trade like you. Yeah. Right. So, you know, here's just some of my investments here. This was in December. I need to update this, but you know, I made 25 grand in 15 days with a $15,000 investment. It was super easy. You can see here, this is my profit and loss. I crushed it. You can see here, this is some of my gains as well, up $30,000 from $7,800. These are the things that we teach, and it's all on the blockchain, guys and gals. There's no brokerage. Show me your ID. None of that. I show you exactly how to do this. Now, this is a done for you option. So for those of you like who just don't have time, or maybe you're like, oh, my skill set isn't investing. This is called Taurus Boost. This is actual returns, guys. This is not like a back test or optimistic thinking. Just this year, from the beginning of 2024 to the end of 2024, this particular investor did 157% return. Remember, I showed you that those calculations where it was only 100, and last year was arguably one of the hardest years in crypto, unless you were holding XRP or Bitcoin. All right, like that's different. And if you did, hats off to you. I just started investing into XRP, and we're looking for a trading script for it. But right now I'm just buying a little bit and holding it because I do think XRP could have some big upside here. But look at this, you know, 157% per year, and it's done even better. I'm going to show you here. It's done even better. Look at this. So 518% in 2020, 6,283% in 2021. Now, this number is skewed. We could hit it. Anything's possible in this reality, right? Anything is possible in this reality. But Solana really, really crushed it that year and skewed the numbers. I mean, there were a few months where we were printing, 300%. I think we did almost 400% 2 times in that year. And we had like a whole bunch of 100% months. But 2021 was explosive. I think we're going to have more years like that coming up. Like we've had the best news we've ever had in crypto this year, and the price is being suppressed. Like the best news ever. Yeah. And the price is being suppressed.
Yeah, it's wild.
Like something's happening. Check this out though. The worst year in crypto was 2022. It did 61.84%. All right. In 2023, it did 355%. All right. In 2024, it did 97.73%. So this is really, really a killer strategy. All right. A killer strategy that we have. Now you can see the compounded growth. This is at $1 million. A lot of you aren't going to start at $1 million, obviously. But again, this is done for you. Like you deposit it into what's called a smart contract on the blockchain. You have custody of it. We manage it. That's the best part. It's simple. That's the power of DeFi. Billy's been doing this with us now for over 2 years, right? Yep. Almost 2.5 years.
Yep.
Billy knows, right? So but look at this. From 2019 all the way to 2024, $1 million turned into $5.7 billion compounded.
Wow.
Compounded. I'm not saying that's going to happen, guys and gals, because again, we had that outlier of Solana just mooning, but who knows? Like, could Solana have that explosive move again? Because we on this particular strategy, we invest in Solana, Bitcoin, and Ethereum. All right. So it's pretty crazy. All right. It's pretty crazy. So this is if you just started in 2023 with $1 million, you'd end up with 9 million. Guys, this is happening every day for people.
Yep.
But it's not mainstream because they need for you to buy and hold Bitcoin in order to pump their bags. But the people who are trading it, Billy, myself, we want that movement up and down because we can capture the money from the upside and the downside on this. Yep. Right? Look at this. This is our results on Taurus Boost. All right. Just this past month alone against Bitcoin, we didn't outperform it, but we were flat against Bitcoin. Against ETH, it was only down 16.64%. So we outperformed Ethereum by this much. And then altcoins, the entire altcoin market, we outperformed by 26% by managing our risk. All right. And this is another strategy that we're going to show you. Scorpio 1. Scorpio 1 did 2.2% above Bitcoin. So we had more in Bitcoin, 19.14% higher than Ethereum this month, and 28.54% higher against altcoins. Now, this is Scorpio. This is a strategy that has been out and trading since 2020. All right. Billy, you just started investing in this one. Look at this.
Yeah.
512% in 2021. It started in 2020, but let's start from 2021. Now, I outperformed this strategy, and this is why you want to diversify into the different strategies. This is done for you guys. This is not like, oh, we're going to tell you and you need to trade it. While you're sleeping, this thing is taking trades, and it's in your wallet. I can't steal your money. Billy can't take your money. Nobody can take your money. No hackers, none of it.
Can't happen. It's your wallet.
It's your wallet. It's your wallet. We just are able to trade it, but there's a limit as to what we can do, which is the power of DeFi, guys and gals. All right. But look at this. In the worst year of crypto, 2022, this strategy did 984%. Billy, you've already heard these numbers before.
Oh, yeah.
The following year, 2023, it did 742%. And last year, it did 540%. That's unheard of. The compounded is 473,000%. Guys, gals, this is how you get rich.
Yep.
This is how you get rich.
That's right. Listen, I know one time I came to you, I was like, I need to put more money in the vault. So I came to you to get more money. Matthew helped me get the money into the vault, the managed vault. And I think within minutes after the money going in there, I don't know what happened on the market, but that money jumped like crazy. I was like, I just made it. It's just crazy.
Yeah. But you know, it's come with its bumps and bruises, right? We've had to learn all of this stuff. We had to learn what the risk profile looks like. We had to test it to make sure it was real. Guys, gals, there's so much fake stuff out there. It's insane.
Tons and tons of it.
Yeah, there's tons of it. So anyways, if you're interested in joining our group, you can book a call right now. We got stuff going for as low as like $197 a month. You guys can see this is not the time to slow down. And by the way, wait for it because we have our first question, Billy. Our first question.
Yeah.
From one of our audience members that they have, and I would just want to give it a couple of minutes here. Let me read it out to you here. Let me stop sharing my screen. And by the way, Matt, can you throw in the questionnaire in there, the Google questionnaire? All right, so Billy, here we go. So let me bring this over. It's way too far over there. There we go. All right. Hi, I'm Kurt. Although I may never retire, I want that option. I'm 68, and unfortunately, the pandemic destroyed most of my multi-million-dollar net worth. Oh wow. Multi-million-dollar net worth. I now have about $75,000 to invest. The most important thing I need now is passive income of $7,500 a month, in addition to Social Security income of $3,000 per month I receive, which would equal $10,500 a month. I'm counting on the same rental income from 2 properties to sustain my other cash flow needs until I sell them. However, the big picture is this: by the time I turn 78, I would like to have $2 million from which to earn passive income without having to work. How can I make this happen? Billy, what do you think?
All valid questions, and I've seen that kind of scenario so many times, actually. Just in people that I deal with on my mentoring. I have the mentoring program, and there's quite a few people already in that same boat. So he's not alone. He's not alone. And one thing you look at is, of course, this man or woman, depending on, is very smart that they didn't put all their eggs in one basket. They understand diversification. They understand passive income. Huge, which means that's a certain level of financial literacy that I usually have to teach people. And in this person's particular case, they already understand that concept, which is phenomenal. Now, I think that, what they should do really is to book a free consultation with the ARC, so that you guys can put them into the training to give them the knowledge that they actually really truly need to be able to understand how to navigate the available investment capital that they do have to create another form of passive income. Maybe even learn how to become their own bank. So that's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna throw this out here. So so Kurt, hopefully Kurt's listening right now. I don't know if he is, but essentially, look, here's the reality of the fact, right? Kurt has about 75 grand. He wants to earn $7,500 a month. That's a consistent 10% return every single month, right? That's a consistent 10% return every month. Is it realistic to make a consistent 10% return in crypto? No, it's not.
No.
All right. I'm going to just be very honest. You're going to have some months that are going to be a 30, 40% return. Some months are going to be 0. Some months are going to be -5%, -10%, whatever. Right. So here's the way, I would structure it. If you are going to be into something more aggressive, and you can do this for your stock portfolio, maybe you're really good at stocks, or maybe you're just learning how to trade stocks or something like that, and that's a skill set that you want to do. Build that stack up to about $750,000. Now that's going to take time. And I know a lot of you are like, I don't want to wait. Right. But I would say if you gave it enough effort and you really searched for an investment out there that has the potential for some high performance, manages the risk from the downside, you could do a 10x in, let's say, 4 to 10 years. Okay, you could. If you do it on your own, it's going to take a little bit of time. But then what you want is, let's say you do 10x. Now you have $750,000 and you're taking 10% of that per year. That's more realistic than trying to start with $75,000 and pulling $7,500 out. That's just my opinion. What do you think about that, Billy?
Yeah, absolutely. No doubt about it, man. You hit it right on point. I mean, that's a smart way to do it. You're talking risk management and being very smart with your capital and understanding how to build. Also, one of the things you talk about a lot also is dollar cost averaging in to level out the risk and and work on increasing the gains. So these are all the things though that you guys teach. You taught me so much, man. And when I first became a student of the Ark, and Matthew got on with me, and the other young lady that was working there, they really were so patient with me, took their time with me, click here, do this, do that. They shared my screen through Zoom, and I was able to learn every fundamental aspect of how to use my hard wallet. I had crypto all over the place. I had it on this app and this app and that app and this app and this wallet. And they were like, no. And then they helped me methodically move all that crypto into the hard wallet, where I have complete control and sovereignty. And then to be able to teach me how to then make the right choices on investing that crypto and making it grow. And then, of course, I diversified and moved some into the managed vault. So, yeah, man, it's been an amazing ride. And, for anyone like the gentleman or woman that, I don't know if it was a man or woman that sent that question in.
Gentleman.
It's a gentleman. Okay, Kurt. Okay, yeah. So it's all about just understanding, man, like we're all in this together. We're all learning together. But you have to learn from somebody that's been through it, through the ups and the downs. And then you have to make your own educated decision. And that's why I highly recommend the ARC program, because so far, 2.5 years later, thousands of Forbidden Family clients, and nobody's made a complaint. Everyone's been happy. And anybody who didn't feel like they got anything out of it, they just got their money back. But I think that this program really is training people how to manage their money, their crypto, in a way that no one else is doing. No one else is teaching and holding hands with this way that you guys are doing with these videos and the app and everything you have going on, to really walk people through step-by-step with understanding. They can literally hold their crypto in the palm of their actual hand in terms of their control function. And I think that's just huge, man. It's massive. It's massive. It's a game changer.
It is. It is. We got one last question here, Billy, and then we're gonna jump off, everybody, and we'll see you all next week. And by the way, book a call. If you guys are interested in learning, you can book a call and let's talk. Let's see if we're aligned. We won't bite. In fact, we'll be very nice. And who knows? Maybe it'll be a life changer. Our community is amazing. So this is a question from a woman by the name of Suzanne. Her name is, "Hi there, my name is Suzanne. I'm 67. I've been trying to make as much money as possible for my retirement in 3 years. I have about $300,000 in cash, own my own $950,000 home with no mortgage. Can I turn my cash into 3 to 4 million within 3 years? How? By the way, I'm very worried about 2025 economy taking a big hit in the next 3 to 6 months, including crypto, stock market, and real estate." Let's take the crypto equation out of this. Let's leave crypto out of this one, and we'll bring it in afterwards. But Billy, what do you think about this scenario? Suzanne, what should she be worried about 2025? Can she, turn her money, her 300,000 into 3 million? Let's say you've worked with a lot more traditional finance than I have.
Yeah.
Is that possible? Yeah. And if so, what's that timeline? What does that look like for these people?
Right. You could turn 300,000 into 3 million. I mean, you can turn 300,000 into 50 million. It's just a matter of time, though. You have to have the right model, the right source to generate the wealth or the income that comes out of the investment. If it's going to be a business, you have to understand the business model. You have to understand the rate of return. You have to understand gross profit versus net net, ROI, return on investment. There's so many. Do you have a burn rate? You have to build a team out of that. How long will it take for you to actually become profitable or enter profitability? So there's a lot of factors depending on what you do. Whether you just trying to invest it into stocks, well, unless you're swing trading and you're really, really good at swing trading, then you can turn it in that time. You can create that. You can achieve that goal. If you are phenomenal at stock options, which is super high risk, and you can lose everything in one day, you can do it there too, though. I mean, I've had stock options days where I've made 150,000 in a day. I mean, I was flying through an airport, made a hit on the stock option, and Elizabeth called me and said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm sitting in Atlanta on my layover buying a Rolls Royce right now." you know, the down payment. I'm serious, and I bought it. It was delivered to the house by the time I got back from my podcast. So, and you've driven in the Rolls Royce, so you know it's there.
Yeah,
so, you know, you can have a day like that, but at the same time, you can lose everything. So it's understanding risk management. It's understanding leveraging properly. And so far from what I've seen, only the technique and methods that you've showed me and taught me can achieve that with some risk, but not as much as some of the other things like starting a business, just throwing your money onto the stock market randomly, trying to become an expert in stock options, and all these different things. I know, you know, at the time that I had all that money that I was investing into real estate, I wish it was this that was in place, because I'd be a billionaire right now. So in hindsight, obviously you can't change the past, and the past made us who we are today. But man, if this was there and I followed this path, I might not be on this podcast right now. I'd be in my own private island.
moving your satellite over Giza.
Yeah, maneuvering my satellites over Antarctica, Giza, South America. You know,
yeah.
Oh God, over the Vatican, so I can look at the archives.
Exactly. Guys, I'm gonna say this. Like, look, here's the thing, and I get this a lot, right? I get this a lot from a lot of our students, especially the new ones, right? Where they come in and they're like, hey, is there any way I can turn, you know, whatever, a very, very small amount into X, right? And I say, look, anything's possible. All right. I have turned $2,000 into $600,000, right? In a relatively short amount of time, in less than a year in crypto. Okay. In one investment. But those are fewer and far between. And here's the thing. I could have just as easily lost it. All right. I could have just easily lost it. And so what I would say is, if you've got $300,000 cash, the last thing you want is to have $150,000 cash in the next year because you got too aggressive. I'd like sit back, take a deep breath, and whatever it is that I'm going to do, if it's crypto, stock, real estate, I would go learn about it. And I would probably push that timeline of 3 years back to like 5 to 7 years. Because if you can learn, and let's say you only take 10% of that 300,000, you start off very conservative, okay, then you might do a lot better. Now, if you have things where you're like, okay, you're part of a community, like a done for you strategy like us, and you understand the strategy, maybe you can get more aggressive, right? And you don't have to do that. But I would be looking for that sort of stuff like in the stock market. And I know we're just waiting for stocks to come on the blockchain. I have some scripts for NVIDIA and for Tesla, some algos that'll knock the socks off of people. But I don't want to go back to the old way. I don't want to go back to deposit. Like, Billy, brokerages don't even take crypto. They don't even take crypto unless it's overseas. The United States ones, they don't take crypto. I'm like blown away. I'm like, how do you guys not take crypto? How do I deposit crypto in here? They're like, we don't take crypto. I'm like, how do you not take crypto? They're like, we don't even know how to use that thing. Please don't talk about it. I could get fired, you know? Like, so anyways, that's what I would say. Like, take a deep breath, learn, and have somebody. And by the way, I'm not telling you to have somebody manage it like for my own pleasure. If you read Market Wizards, which is one of my favorite books regarding trading, one of the top traders in there, he says, the guy that's interviewing goes like, what if you don't have the skill sets to trade like you? He goes, find somebody else to trade for you. And that's what we've done. We found the best traders. I didn't come up with it. I know enough to where I can do relatively well. I've made millions of dollars trading my own stuff, but I also know that there's better people out there, and I'm building the infrastructure on DeFi so that people can come and just do this all being their own bank, right? So I would do that. The last thing here, Billy, that I do want to answer, though, I want your take on this question here. by the way, I'm worried about 2025 economy taking a big hit in the next 3 to 6 months, including crypto, stock market, and real estate. What do you think about that?
Well, you know, the economy right now is, well, at least the stock market is showing a lot of signs of uncertainty. And the reason why we see this uncertainty in the markets is because the administration are making a lot of radical decisions. Now, some of those decisions I actually agree with, I'm not going to lie, but the market doesn't like radical behavior. The market runs off of emotion and they run off of certainty. So when they know an administration is tendencies are leaning towards doing this or this, and they can kind of count on that, then the market is more stable. The market becomes extremely unstable when radical activity takes place within the administration. Radical decisions, not activity, but radical decisions. You know, one day it's going to be tariffs. The next day there's no tariffs. The next day we got tariffs again. We're going to charge you $5 million to come in the country. We're going to, you know, sign this executive order here, there. We're going to stop all this government theft, which is happening, which I agree with. But all those things that's going on is creating a certain level of uncertainty on the markets, and that uncertainty for the market makers leads to volatility and leads to fear, which leads to capitulation, which leads to stock market dropping like crazy.
Yeah. I actually really agree with you. And I also agree with you that these things need to happen. Like, you have a business, Billy. You have a business. You know, there's times where you need to tighten the belt. You don't just print money, right? And so we've had to do that in our company during certain periods where things got a little lean, right? But we had to get creative, and that's the way business works. For those of you who have businesses, you know what we're talking about. And so I think that the government needs to make these changes. I'm not a Trump person. I'm not an Elon person. In fact, I stay off social media, guys. If you want some sanity, just subscribe to 4BK and Billy's personal channel. That's all I watch really right now. But honestly, I would definitely say that you just be careful. Have your risk management in place, because, you know, like Suzanne's got 300,000. If she goes throwing it all in and there's no risk management in place, that 300,000 could easily turn into 150 if, you know, we have a downturn here. So, anyways, that's all we got for today. Billy, you have anything else?
No, that's it, everyone. I dropped a link to the free consult in the live chat several times, as well as in the caption of this video. If you're watching from x.com, obviously you can't get links there, but you can go to the link in my bio on x.com, and you can also register for a free consultation right there with the ARC. All right, so check it out there. It's another great episode of Conscious Finance. We'll be back again next week. Thank you, Ben, for hopping on. Huh?
Yeah, next week we're talking about how to get access to business financing.
Yes.
So that's going to be a really, really good one, guys. If you're like, oh man, I don't have two nipples. Nickels.
What are you thinking about, Gven?
Okay. Oh man, we got to do like bloopers now. We're going to have a conscious finance bloopers. If you don't have two nickels to rub together and you don't think that it's possible for you to hit these sorts of numbers, we're going to be bringing you this alpha, guys. We're going to be bringing you this stuff. And Billy, with your permission, can I send them over to my YouTube so they can keep learning about DeFi?
Come on. Absolutely. Send them to the YouTube, man. Matt, drop the link to Gven's YouTube in the live chat.
Yeah, guys, I'm trying to get to 5,000 in the next few months. So throw me some love over there. Get over there. Share it with your friends who want to learn about DeFi, learn about becoming their own bank, and let's get making some money.
Yeah, absolutely. And also your YouTube account is linked in the caption of this video already.
Awesome. Beautiful,
just
brother.
Click on that, get to Gven's YouTube account and sign up over there. Don't forget to get your free consult for the ARC. Next week, we're talking business finance. I'm going to teach you some homegrown tricks on how to raise capital and how to generate, how to get lines of credit and business funding through your business.
Awesome. All right, my bro.
All right. Catch y'all later. All right. Peace.